years, right? Never bothers about, never bothers about next year. Is already aware that, look at the way our politicians behave, for example, right? Before they will tell you who is going to be president in the next 5 years, 20 years, they are planning. And that's why purpose alone keeps you alive. So many of us are within a space. This is what the feedback I'm going to give you based on what you have written so far. There is no plan based on the environment you have found yourself to take possession of the future. What that means is things are going to happen to you accidentally. You are going to be responding to life the way it comes. You are not likely to be at the leadership in any career, in any sector. You will be fine, or you will feed your family, you will pay house rent, you will even buy a house. But when it comes to the critical leadership of any sector, of any movement, you are not going to feature. And if you don't feature, your children are not likely to feature. Not because it's not God's plan for them to feature, but because there are models in front of them. So imagine if all of us in this meeting were Chinese, if we were Japanese, all our answers would be totally different. You know why? Because you were born into a nation, into a state that thinks 100 years, 250 years ahead. UAE said that by the year 2117, they will build an estate in Mars. Immediately, the king of UAE, Dubai, appointed a minister for the future, who was an 18-year-old or 21-year-old lady. Now, if you are a citizen of UAE, you are hearing your leader talks about we are going to build a Mars in an estate in Mars by 2117. As a business owner, you are also going to say, my business will have a branch in March by 2117. As is appointing minister for the future, you are creating a department for the future. That is why your environment can stifle you. Your environment can mess you up. Now, environment is not location. Environment is the energy you are and the vibration you have surrounded yourself with. So if you have surrounded yourself with future leaders who are not futuristic, who are not thinking 20 years, 50 years, 30 years, who all they want to do is to stay alive in the year 2022. That's all you'll be thinking about. Your family vision is going to be determined that same way. And that's exactly why it looks like consistently Africa lags behind. Now, this is our present reality in Africa. This is the World Population Review Index for the year 2020. The 12 worst countries to live in 2020, 11 of them were African countries. Now, what exactly is Africa known for as it stands today globally, right? I had asked these questions, around a few people. I went around my area yesterday and day before yesterday, asking people I just met randomly, what do you have to say? What do you know about Africa? If I started with Nigeria, they don't really know Nigeria, but they know Africa. They think Africa is a country, some of them, right? So I asked them, what do you know about Africa? They said, some of them, Africa is where you get a mail that tells you that somebody's father died and they left a wealth for the person, and then they want to want you to send some details and blah blah. I'm sure you have received those kind of mails before. What they are saying invariably is that we are known for fraud, right? Now, that's not a true representation of us, because the way they talk about developed countries, you would think everything is developed. I've lived in the US for a couple of months, less than a year, and I'm seeing lapses already in some of the system. Is the way it's projected, right? But the difference is this system is designed to correct itself. But Africa is built on emotion. So this is what it looks like right now. Corrupt leadership. We are a land of raw materials and talent. But you will realize that our best brains find expression in someone else's system, maybe outside of Africa. We love music and fun, which is very, very good. I wonder why we have not built a proper ecosystem around it and begin to export it. Thank God for people like Wizkid, Davidos, Burna Boy, who have taken our music global, but the governance and the leadership have not woken up to that reality. Excellent landmass and vegetation. We don't have natural disaster. like, someone took me out yesterday and was telling me that this time last year, right, there was power outage in Dallas area. Now, and because the weather, they had snow. They never used to have snow. Now, they were not prepared for it. When there was power outage, some people died because everything literally runs on power, right? So now we don't have that problem, as it were. If there's no power in Africa, you still sleep fine. You can even sleep outside your house. You cannot sleep outside your house in Toronto. You cannot. I mean, you can't. You can't even try. You may just die before it's done. So we have excellent landmass. We have vegetation, yet we still import a lot of things. Now they talk about internet fraud. That was what the Chinese, because I have quite a number of Chinese around me. The Chinese, I asked questions yesterday. Some of them are Asians, and I asked questions from. Everything they talked about was internet fraud. They talked about somebody who wants to marry you and is talking to you and things like that. Now, that is not the true reflection of who we are. I know that they talk about then hard work. The hard work we go through in Africa is least talked about. We are resilient in the sense that many people cannot survive what we survive. So these are the things that we know about us. But it's interesting to know that despite our hard work and many of these things, these are the 20 countries with the most billionaires in the world as of December last year. The top 20 countries that has the most billionaires. Now, let me say this to you. I know a lot of people say they are billionaires, in Nigeria. If you are not, your billion you can't be a billionaire in dollars. You are not classified as a billionaire. That's how it's structured. Now, if you look at all these 20 countries, United States, China, India, Germany, Russia, Hong Kong, Brazil, Canada, United Kingdom, Italy, Japan, Taiwan, Australia, South Korea, France, Sweden, Switzerland, Thailand, Spain, Singapore. In fact, Thailand is an interesting country. It's an atheist country, as it were, right? If you go to Thailand, if you're a very, very loose person, right, you may sleep with, someone who has changed his gender and you won't even know, right? Yet, they made this list. Singapore, Turkey, no single African country made this list. The top 20 countries with the highest number of billionaires in the world. Why didn't we make this? I was doing this research and this is what I found. All these countries, there are 5 things common to them. Number one, they all have a sense of nationhood, that they think nation before ethnicity. So you won't hear first I'm Igbo or Yoruba. They think Japanese, Indian before they think anything. And when they leave the shores of their country, they don't think segregation. They think one India, one Japanese. Now, number 2, they all have an intentional educational system powered by mentoring. So they have a peer-to-peer, they have adult to downline mentoring system. That's why in India, for example, outside of India, in the diaspora, everyone is uncle, everyone is auntie. There is someone to take you through all you need to do. Number 3, they all have an enabling environment that enables everyone to dream, and your dreams are protected. What that means is nobody can steal your intellectual property. Some guy came to my training many years ago. The guy took my material, used it to write a book, and brought the book to me to write a foreword. Now, isn't that laughable? But that was my reality. And so another person, because many years ago, I used to do daily broadcast, right? So someone picked my daily broadcast, right? And edited a name out and my name out, put a name and started sending it to a group. So one day she sent it to me. And I was like, this is my article. I said, Mr. Fo, I want to say thank you to you. God bless you. She began to pray. I was wondering why she was praying for me. She said, you know what, in my group, they see me as a superstar. I said, what does that mean? She said, because every time you send your article, I put my name there and I send it. So they think I'm the one writing it. She said, I want to thank you very much because they now respect me in that group. Now, that's someone who speaks in tongues. That's someone who is a prayer warrior. Now, he doesn't know that that's a jailable offense. In fact, if I sue her, right, I don't need to work again for the rest of my life. But that is the reality. I'm sure this is funny to you guys, but that is the reality. So enabling environment where everyone can dream. You can wake up Elon Musk left South Africa, came to America, and today is the richest man in the world. That will never happen in some places. Number 4, a structured system intentional about desired outcome. And that is what I am going to dwell on a lot today. That as a human being, you have the capacity to sit in this meeting today and look at year 2032 and write down that by the year 2032, this is where my family is going to be. And you have the capacity to ask yourself, who do I need to become? And what do I need to do to deliver this result and go after that result against all odds? And year 2032 is here and you achieve it. Every nation of the world does that. We are the only people who leave it to chance, and we lead it to by the special grace of God. You know, there's the grace of God. There is the special grace of God. If you are well-traveled, you will know that the special grace of God is a conversation that we make in Africa. It's an African narrative. You will hear all over, there's the grace of God, by the grace of God. But special grace of God, what we have done is we have created a higher level to say, should we not do it, the grace is not made available. Number 5, role modeling powered by the new village system. That new village is what I've studied, and that's a bit of what I'm going to be sharing with you today. But question, have we always been like this? There was Africa post 1700. That is the Africa people talk about. But there was the Africa pre-1700. There was the Africa pre-1700. 1400 to 1700, I was able to do a study on a city called Benin City. Many of you may not know it's called Benin City because of the exploit in the year 1400. Here is what I found. The Guinness Book of Records, 1974 edition, described the wall of Benin and its surrounding kingdom as the world's largest, carried out proud to the mechanical era. Question, what technology did they use to create the world's largest earthwork? It was one of the first cities to have a semblance of street lighting. Benin had what looked like street lighting before London. It had street light before Lisbon, before China, before Germany, right? It was built around the city. This was 1400, with its mathematical layout and artwork, longer than the Great Wall of China. Benin was one of the best cities in the world. Who were the people in Benin? What was the brain they had? How were they able to do this in 1400? What happened to them? What is going on, right? That nobody talks about it. Benin is located in the southwestern part of Nigeria, in case you are not a Nigerian listening to me. They took an estimated 150 million hours of digging to construct and perhaps the single largest archaeological phenomenon on the planet. The wall stood for 400 years. So when people say Nigerians, Africans cannot build what will stand, this was built in Benin City. It stood for 400 years. In fact, they said that when the Portuguese were coming, they thought that Africans were people were not developed until they got to Benin City. And they realized that Benin was more developed. In fact, that's why till today, I think they said Benin has the best road network among many of the cities in the world. The city is wealthy and industrious. It's so well governed that theft is unknown. In 1400, Benin, you can't steal in Benin. The people live in such security that they have no doors to their houses. So if you go to America or UK and you see houses without fence, that was Benin City. Benin Empire was one of the most difficult to conquer by the British because of how formidable the system they built was. In fact, the military in Benin defeated the British system before they went to reinforce and came back with better guns, better weapons, and they conquered and destroyed it. Our ancestors understood technology. They built formidable system and they were thinkers. So if anyone has ever lied to you and you are lying to your children and your children are looking back at Africa and they think we are loafers, we are people who know nothing, it's not true. We understood technology. We built a wall that was bigger, better than the Great Wall of China. They didn't just build a wall, they created some of the world's best known bronze walls, which were taken away during colonization, which is where I have a problem with religion. They came and they said these were idols, these were gods, we should throw them away. But they took them to their museum and it was giving them a lot of money. So we look at those things, we call them gods, lesser gods. We threw them away, but they took them to their museum and it's become artifacts. Your ancestors were great people. So greatness resides in you. I want you to type on the box right now that greatness resides in me. The blood that flowed in those people flowed in you. That means that you are an innovator, you are a thinker. It is condition post 1700 that has made you into who you are right now. I want you to type greatness resides in me. Greatness resides in me. Greatness resides in me. All of you here, there is a gene in you that is a gene for greatness. You're an African. Greatness resides in you. And you need to understand that this was built in Africa that a lot of people don't know anything about. And yet you look back at Benin City and all you think about is prostitution. It has not always been like that. Now, what made the kingdom of Benin great? I have studied Benin Kingdom. I have studied Oyo Empire, Emirates. Interesting stories. Now, number one, there was visionary leadership. There was visionary leadership. So if you describe Africa based on the leaders we have right now, the Buharis of this world, that was not Africa. That is not a true representation of who we are. Now they had the sense of responsibility. They took care of their people. There was a sense of collaboration. To build a city, to build that wall, took a lot of collaboration. There was a sense of hard work. Our forefathers were hardworking. There was a sense of routine, right? They had a routine, they kept to it, and there was a system that was working. There was a sense of identity. That was why the Benin Kingdom did not bow to the British system when they came for colonization. They refused to hand over. They chose to die. In fact, the king decided to go on exile than surrender his people. They had the sense of identity, and they were very, very proud of it. They had a sense of thoughtfulness. This was the Benin that nobody told you about. These were our ancestors. Now, it will interest you to know that we had a lot of technology at its rawest level, but what we did not have was the system that can scale it and make it global. And that's what I'm going to be talking to you about, because you need to change that from your family. That's why your family needs to move away from being a family, whether a single mother-led family, single father-led family, parent-led family, and blended family, whatever family it is, right? That we had what is called Ofe. Ofe is what is now known as teleporting. Go and check. Our forefathers could actually raise one leg and land somewhere else. We call it voodoo, but now that is now regarded as a technology. Thank you, Akiroko. Oba Ovoranwe Onubaisi. Yes, you are very correct. Now they have this. We called it, when we became Christians, we call it demonology. We left it. Now it's become a tech. It's called teleportation, right? But we used to laugh at them, and now we've turned it something else. Now it will interest you to know that we talk about tech, the internet. We talk about, now they talk about metaverse. It will interest you to know that the iPad you use, the technology is built on binary system. Now they did a study of what they call the Ifa system in the Yoruba culture, Ifa Oracle, right? What you call artificial reality, virtual reality. Actually, the Ifa system, if you do that study, I did it last year, is built on binary. If you understand it, everything is 2 by 2. It's built on binary. It was very crude technology. It's what is synonymous to what we call psychometry right now, right? But our people were crude. They didn't document it, and they couldn't scale it. It's become technology right now. You take psychometry and you feel good. But that was what we call demons. We didn't understand the power. We could have studied it, built a technology around it, but that is how we are. We are a people who are heavy on natural resource, but we are very weak on systems resource. So the question is, what is in your family right now that you are about to throw away, that someone else in Japan is going to build into a global product and your great-grandchildren are going to buy from? What is it in your family that you have not patented that can be a family business that can scale globally, like McDonald's, like Kentucky Fried Chicken, that somebody is going to buy? Somebody's going to look at it, build the technology around it. They will call it one funny name, and you will buy. Think about it, because Okpele was binary. You can go do that research. I have done it, right? And I can put it to you. Now, Fela Durotoye once said, it is not what you don't have that limits you. It is what you have, but you don't know how to use. Now, that's very instructive, that many of you are struggling with money, yet there is wealth within your family that you have not paid attention to. Thank you very much, Akinro. Thank you very much. Now, what is inherent not that we have been made to believe doesn't exist? You need to ask, because it looks to me like what religion, the damage religion has done to us, is to make us begin to doubt the superiority or the originality of what we contain and throw it away. Now we look lost. Now your children don't even know who they are. Some of them live in the diaspora. Some people, they can't accept them here. Yeah, they don't know anything about Africa. They can't even speak our mother tongue. These are critical issues, because the Indian family, no matter where they are, they understand their language. Now, here is data. According to Rice University research, Nigerian Americans are the most educated group in the US. Given this is not controverted anymore. According to 2008-2012 American Community Survey conducted by US Census Bureau, 61.4% of Nigerian Americans aged 26 years or older holds a bachelor's degree or higher, compared to 28.5% of the total US population. Can you beat that? The Migration Policy Institute reports that 29% of Nigerian Americans have a master's degree, PhD, or an advanced professional degree, compared to 11% of the US population overall. Nigerian Americans are also known for their contribution to medicine, science, technology, arts, and literature. Today, 61% of Nigerian Americans over the age of 25 hold a graduate degree, compared to 32% of the US-born population. Now, in spite of all of this, the question is, why has our education not translated to power? After all, maybe they say knowledge is power, knowledge is power, knowledge is power. Is knowledge really power, or could it mean there's a type of knowledge that produces power? Because knowledge is power, then the president of Nigeria should be a professor. He will not be someone whose certificate people don't know. Now, if knowledge is power, right, then the richest people across the world should be university graduates. Then this is to now say that is a type of knowledge that is power. It cannot just be school knowledge. Now, so I was doing a research. I was trying to find out, why are Indians, Jews, Japanese, Chinese, and Emiratis able to effectively collaborate to scale abroad? And Africans have not been able to do that. And these were the things I found. Number one, when Africans are migrating, we migrate for safety and better life. Others are migrating as a strategy for occupancy, as influence. So when they are coming, that's why you see the Indians, they can come here, live in this my house, 11 of them, share the rent, right? And pay like maybe $50, all of them are together. Then they begin to work rigorously, finding a way, collaborating, till all of them can buy 10 of these houses. Then they move apart and go and set up a new village. Now it's because they have an agenda to dominate the world. India actually is projected to be one of the top economies in the world in the next 15 years. Maybe number one or number two. I think number two. Education for opportunities and relevance is what we do. They do education for relevance and indispensability. So they tell them what to go and study. Not, they just don't wake up and say, I want to be a doctor. If he's studying a doctor, he's a doctor with a purpose. Jews also do that. When Jews come to your business, they come to study your business to either buy you out or go and replicate it and take you out. In fact, Jews can come to a place and ensure the school in the area dies so that you can attend their schools. These are things that people have studied. Migration as a result of threat to humanity. Many of us are threatened. Left to us would have lived in our nation, but we're threatened by the economic situation, the fact that you can't think as an intellectual, but these guys, migration is as a strategic expansion of their frontiers to other spaces. Now, Africans have no visible agenda and coordinating unit. So you live here, you begin to look for information by yourself. When Indians, Chinese come here, there's clarity of agenda broken into coordinating villages. People who are on this call, who live in the diaspora, know exactly what I'm talking about. Now, Africans do individual parenting system with no documented heritage template that can deliver a predictable outcome. These guys do institutionalized parenting template with clear national values that govern outcome. Now, for us, we do a lot of emotions and raw material intelligence. These guys do systems intelligence. Lastly, we have ineffective power and command centers, right? Centered and treated to compete against peers and breed distrust. So we compete against ourselves as against collaboration to compete with others. I mean, somebody was telling me that, I think in a place in Calgary, 2 Nigerians came out to become mayors. They told them to step down for each other. They couldn't. Then India brought one person and the person won. Right? So we compete against ourselves even outside here. We don't care if we kill the other person for the other person to leave. But these guys, effective power and command centers built on super and peer synergy model. Right? So follow me. Ruth is saying is Africa's diversity must be a factor that affects our unity in agenda. Now, that's another conversation which I know the answer. Right? Because in our study of a family system of every nation in Africa, what we found is what the colonialists did was they put 2 unlike poles together. They put 2, so people with no uniform, no like, I mean, people who are unlike, they put them together. So they have no similar heritage, they put them together. What that would happen is they will be imploding from within and fighting themselves. So for example, go to Benin Republic. Benin Republic has more Yorubas, but the lingua franca there is French. Yet they now have about 25 other ethnic groups who also are claiming supremacy. So they'll be fighting themselves. Now, these are some of the issues that are silent that we need to overcome. Now, follow me. I'm going on a journey. So Chinese, Japanese, Jews, Indians, Arabs, they have a clear agenda to take over the world. So what they do is they spot the core potential of a child and educate that child without emotions to become a part of an indispensable race for the world. What we do is we educate children to become independent, to be better than their mates and good-natured, even if it means serving others for the rest of that. So we love our children to be first position, to be best behaved. Check who they call best behaved in many schools. The best behaved is often quiet. He never fights. He never questions. The person that questions in many of our schools in Africa is called a rebel. It's called disruptive. Meanwhile, that is the guy who can create the future. The guy who keeps quiet, who has been domesticated, right? They say he's well-behaved, He never questions anything. It's just okay. He supports the teachers, even if they want to kill everybody, he supports them. That's well-behaved. That is a problem. It means we have no space for outliers, disruptors, and people who can challenge status quo. So here is the problem. These guys are trying to raise a successful race. We are trying to raise successful children. So it is me versus us. And we know that us will always defeat me. Now, so what do we need to do? Because, guys, if we don't change our present family systems, starting with our parenting system, we will unconsciously reproduce another generation like us. Now, if you notice something, many of us didn't like our parents when we were growing up, right? We wanted to be something else. We say, I will never end up like my parents. But how many of you on this call, you notice that your children have started accusing you of what you used to accuse your parents for? If you are here, can you type I? You are here, what your parent used to accuse your parents for, you didn't like about them, your children are already accusing you of the same. Anybody like that here, type I. Fantastic, thank you very much. Now, what is that saying to you? It's saying that the template of your parents have reproduced themselves in you. And if it's not, care is not taken, if we don't intercept the template and change it, we are going to reproduce another generation like us. They will be iPad carrying, they will carry iPad, they will, say we are in the diaspora, we can use internet, virtual reality, but they will still be us. And that will be devastating. And we are already on that path already, because nothing trumps the power of modeling. You become the person that you behold consistently. It's called subliminal hypnosis. The future is about intentional scripting, powered by backcasting and systems intelligence. I will try my best to break this down for you, right? So don't be in a hurry, right? But I'll break it down. The future, because I studied the British system, studied the Japanese system, the Chinese system. I wanted to know why they are producing results. This was what I found. Intentional scripting. The Japanese citizens are almost scripted like zombies. Pardon the use of my word, but they are positive zombies that they are going to use their work rate will kill you. You can't match their work rate. I am an Indian person. You will see that their work rate is insane, right? While you are tired, they are there. Why you want to go and pray, they are there. Why you want to go for fellowship, they are there, right? It's not as if they are not spiritual at all, but it's already programmed on how to do it in a way that it doesn't lead to time wasting. So your family needs to understand intentional. That's why check all the Fortune 500 companies. You will hardly find a Nigerian leading any or an African. You will find mostly Indians. What is it about Indians that everyone is going to them to become their CEO? So the future is about intentional scripting powered by backcasting. Backcasting means you go to the end, then you project to where you are to say, what will the Ikes family look like in 2040? What do we want to become? So based on 2040, where are we right now? Then you come back to where you are. And you now build it on systems intelligence where systems are not emotional. If you are a sports fan, you would have studied what is happening in Australia between Australian government and Novak Djokovic. Their systems are not emotional. They deported the guy simply because he will not be vaccinated. The template of the whole cannot create the future. And if we don't embrace new rules, we will keep replicating the. So here is what I want you to do shortly. Then I'll give you a simple template that, one of the 9 templates you need to build, right? I'm hoping I can keep this group and all of you, I can work with you for the next 1 year. I'll teach you stuff you need to know, coach you on it, go get you guys to go and implement it in your family. We come back again and debrief, right? It will take about 10 months or 11 months thereabout to finish the entire process, but I'll show you one. Now, so let's do a small audit, right? So on your sheet of paper, right? I want you to project into 2032, right? Let's assume I have a magic wand, right? I can make what's your dreams to come to pass in 2032, right? Can you write down what you want your family to look like in 10 years from now, right? This is blank check. So feel free to dream on the paper, right? So let's say this is 2032. It's December 31st, 2032. What do you want your family to look like? Can you type it now on your sheet of paper? Go ahead and do it. Right? Once you're done, then can you just type yes on the chat box? Make it very, very snappy because we have limited time, right? But I'll show you something. I'll show you where the missing links are, right? Can you type it out? Can you type it out? Can you type it out? It will show you something very powerful, right? Which is, when we start the coaching for the rest of the year, I'll break this down with you because then we won't be in a hurry. We will sit down in class and profile all of these things. And by yourself, you will create a system that will consistently deliver to you, guaranteed. This, I know it. I know so well how this works, right? 2032, right? Can you write it down in your sheet of paper? Where do you want a family to be? This is exactly 10 years time. Where exactly you want a family to be in 2032, right? Okay, Ayanate is done. Fantastic. If you are done, right, now can you go to result? Where are you guys right now? Where is your family right now? Where exactly is your family right now? Can you go to where you are? What is your present reality? Can you type that down? Okay, if you are done with that, you can write number 1, now number 2 on the chat box. Where exactly are you right now? Where exactly are you right now? Okay, if you are done with number 2, the result, type 2 in the chat box, right? Can you write down where exactly is your family now? Okay, fantastic, fantastic. Now, I want you to look at where you are versus where you want to be in 2032, right? You look at your result vis-a-vis 2032 potential. That's possible, and it's going to be done. I'll show you exactly how to do it. I'll show you the systems you need to build to achieve it. Now, If you have to, let's assume 2032 is 100%. What percentage will you give your present result? Right? Let's assume what you want to be is 100%. What percentage will you give where you are right now? Right? That would show you the magnitude of work you need to do. So let's say you want to be a family that is worth $1 billion in 2032. What's your result right now? What is the percentage you are in right now? I want to type that percentage in the chat box. Right? Where you are versus where you want to be. Okay, somebody said 5%. Fantastic. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for your honesty. This is about you guys. This is about, you are going to totally change your life this year. Okay, 5%, 20%, 1%, 2%. Wow, 75%. Thank you, Mommy Mo. Expected that. Okay, 3%. Keep them coming, keep them coming. Now, 10%. I love what you're doing. 10%. Now, let me tell you where the problem is. If you go here now, because right now, you don't even have a clear template of getting to where you want to get to. You don't have a clear strategy. And that is a problem. So, and it's an African problem that we need to overcome. Now, here is where the problem is. Your beliefs, right now, your beliefs, your attitude is what is producing this present result. You desire the best for your family. You want to have heaven on earth. People say, you hear churches, heaven on earth family, but ask them how. Are we going to create a heaven on earth? They don't know. They just think it's by prayers. That's all they say. You pray, you God, you everything they are saying has not been tested. It has not been proven. Right? I was asking a group. I said, you said we want to change Nigeria. Nigeria become a top nation. You are now saying we should come and do concert, praise concert. And heaven will open over Nigeria. And I ask a simple question. Mention one nation that did praise concert and heaven opened over them and they became a developed country. In Bible. And they couldn't answer the question. And I say, I'm not coming. Because even the nation Israel in the Bible did not do praise and worship concert and heaven opened. No. We just throw around words. So here is the problem. Your beliefs and the relationships in your life right now is what is producing this result. For you to produce this new result that you want to produce, your beliefs needs to change. And that is the toughest part. So what ideally you are supposed to do is to check who are the people speaking into your life right now. What materials are you reading? Who are your mentors? Who are your models? The people you want to model your life after, they are here. And you are asking the question, if you continue to listen to them, watch how you do things, follow them, will you get to 2032, what you want to be? If your answer is no, there are relationships you need to mute in the next 10 years. Don't throw them away, mute them. Because they are good people, but they are not right for where you want to go. There are information that you need to delete. Is good, but it can't take you to where you want to go. So your result right now is the best they could have made you into, and you don't like that result. This is where you want to be. So you now begin to check who are the people already producing this result. Once you begin to find names, you now begin to study them. Now, in coaching, we will do all those ones, right? You begin to study them and check them out. Now, I'm taking a group of people through a program called Human Engineering Programming. Some of them are on this call. You can ask them what their experience has been. It's been life-changing for many of them. Some of them, their life is totally changed forever because they are rebuilding who they are. Now, so if we don't change your mentors, change the people you listen to, because there are information you are listening to right now that you love that can't take you here. You love the speaker, you love the information, you love the books, you love the people, you love the groups, but it's not tailor-made for you. Let me give you an example. You want to be a billionaire in 2032. That's the information you need. But what you are listening to are information on how to avoid hellfire. How to avoid hellfire is very good, but it cannot produce a billionaire. It will never happen. You will miss hellfire, but you will never become a billionaire because it's a good information that is not right for you. So you are not loyal to your family. That's what is happening to you. So what you need to do is to reprogram this and ensure that your beliefs come into alignment with the result you want to be. That's very tough. Some names are going to show up that you're going to delete. Some places you will no longer go there. There are people you don't think you like that you now need to bring into your reality. This is what you need to do. Now, future projection of families by 2050 says, number one, there will be multiple households with many lead, which may lead to polyamorous relationship. That's already happening. I talked about this. I put this out 4 years ago when it was not even a thing in America. Polyamorous is a major relationships in America right now and other parts of the world. There will be extreme multi-generational families. Of course, the Japanese, the Chinese, they have that. There will be clone families. That's already been worked on, right? There will be gender fluidity in the family by 2050. Many families will experience that. As you can see, some Nigerian children are coming out. Abroad is giving them the template to come out and say, this is who I want to be. Their parents are upset, right? But there's how to manage all those ones. There will be multi-linked and virtual families. Now, with the migration into metaverse, with the AR, AV, I mean, those things are now possible. Now, there will be post-cryonic families. What that means is somebody will die, but he will still continue to live. So with people now freezing their sperm, freezing with frozen sperm that can now, the guy is dead, but his sperm is still impregnating people. His seed is living forever. In the words of Dame Patience Jonathan, he said, Ojukwu is dead, but his manhood lives forever. Okay, so forever living manhood will be possible. Space colonist family. Now that humanity is going to Mars, right? There will be space colonist family. So you can see that there's disruption ahead. There will be robotic and artificial intelligence caregivers. So maybe some of you would have raised your children, but your grandchildren, so you want to go and do omugwo, I don't know what they call it in the Igbo, but you now realize that your children will say, Mommy, you don't need to come. Grandma, you don't need to come because we have a robot who takes care of the child. What are the intricacies? How will that all go well for you? This is the future, guys, right? And that's why you cannot live at the realm you are in right now. Every time I look at Africa, I look at what people are teaching, I look at what we are hearing. It's almost as if we are years behind. So you need to save your family first. That's what I need you to do this year. You need to ask yourself, what if we can collaborate as the people in this group to create a developed Africa from our villages using the best template that the Japanese, Indians, and Jews have used? Templates are replicable. Principles are replicable. It's application that is different. These are researches we have done over time. And if you devote this year to saving your family, don't try to save anybody. Save your family this year. Build systems this year. Do what is, you be loyal to your family, right? Build the system. It will be painstaking, but do it. It would save your life in the years to come. Now, these are the codes for the new future. To build a family that can move from mere family into a village for the future, there are 9 systems you need to build. One is called the governance system. Now, which means in here, we're going to be helping you design your family vision, your family values. You are going to create a family constitution. You are literally going to run your family as a nation, right? I have done all kinds of studies, right? And I've realized that you want to talk about Chinese, you want to talk about Japanese, the Jews, they understand this model. Africans don't teach it because we don't know it and we don't understand it, right? But now is the time for us to begin to implement it. Now you will have a communication system. Your communication system is what determines how people talk, how people communicate, their style of communication within your family. You need to learn to intentionally create that as well. Then you're going to have the family educational. I will show you a template for that. That's the only one I will show you a template for in this webinar, right? This is would determine the mental and home training development. Many of you who hire staff, you will know that right now, many of you are having problem with your staff. What you call bad behavior at work is failure of home training. Home training. They don't come late to work. Home training issue. He's stealing from home training issue. It's not born again or not born again, godly or not godly. No, a properly trained child who has been scripted, because training from home training is actually scripting. There are things you will not do. I don't go late for meetings because my father scripted. I can't steal because my father scripted me not to steal. Right? So family educational system, family economic system, you need to build that. Right? Domestic management system, which governs everything you do in your home, the placement of everything. Why do we place bed this way? Why do we place chairs this way? Entertainment and recreational system. How does it affect your neighbors? How do we recreate? How do we entertain? Security system. That is like your immigration system. Every home needs that, or else if you are emotional and you bring in people, they can mess your children up and you won't know. Then you have the healthcare and wellness system, preventive medicine. I mean, I went to African store yesterday and I saw Ruzu bitter. I bought it immediately because that African made is good for my body. I've used it way back in Nigeria and I love it, right? So you need to know what works for you. These are systems, guys, that you need to build. These are the codes that will power the future, wherein your family can become a nation. It becomes a village that everything works and people don't understand how they are working. Now, having said that, the future is about the movement from family to villages. That if you have 2 children already, you are qualified to own a village. And you are qualified to actually collaborate with other people to own your village is no longer the village for the future. If you were born in Ukotabasi, if you were born in Midwani or what, if you were born in Ekiti or something like that, that is not the village of the future. And how do you know? If you send your children back to the village you call your village right now, and you leave them there for 6 years, who will your children become? Can you find one word? And I want you to be very sincere. Let's assume you say, oh, my village, I love my village. If you send your children back to your village, the place you call your village right now, for 6 years to go and live there and to come back, who will they have become? I want you guys to answer the question in the chat box. Use one word to describe who they would have become in 6 years. Send them back to your village, go and live there, you know, to eat their food, interact with the people there, go to the school in the village, you know, and come back to you after 6 years. Who would they have become? Somebody said, that's the reality. Because our villages have not evolved over time. You go back there and it looks worse than it used to be. That is the reality. So it now means, and what you call your village, you were not in control of that village. You didn't know anything about it. You didn't set it up. You didn't know what was happening when they said it. You were just born there. Now you have no control. What if you can now create a village that you have a control of? What if you can own a village and say, this is my village. I'm in control of this village. I'm in control of the language here, and I determine what happens here, and I'm creating a future. You bring in the education for the village, you bring in the economic system for the village, and you are creating all of this. Guys, this is the future I have brought to you. These are the systems you need to build this year, right? I will make you look at this, then I will share the educational system template with you, which I think everybody here, you can actually apply that, right? In case you don't want to be part of the coaching. But look at this. Beginning in 2030, net international migration is expected to overtake natural increase as the driver of population growth in the US because of population aging. That year, I saw this when I got to the US. They asked us to study it on document. I was studying and I saw it. That year, United States is projected to add 1 million people by natural increase. That is the number of births minus death. But 1.1 million through net international migration. Because the number of deaths is projected to rise substantially. In 2060, the US population is projected to add about 500,000 people by natural increase, whereas net international migration is expected to add more than twice that number, 1.1 million. Look at where I'm going. A snapshot of the US economy in 2065 will show a nation that has 117 million more people than today, with no racial or ethnic majority group taking the place of today's white majority. You know, this is a statement you can easily gloss over, read over, and move over and move on. But this statement is heavy. If you can decode it, if we can't decode it, I won't decode it for you. But just look at it. With no racial or ethnic majority group taking the place of today's white majority. According to the New Pew Research Center projection, about 1 in 3 Americans will be an immigrant or have immigrant parents, compared with the 1 in 4 today. This projection shows that new immigrants and their descendants will drive most of US population growth in the next 50 years, as they have for the past half a century. Among the projected 241 million Americans in 2065, 78 million will be immigrants and 81 will be people born into the US to immigrant parents. We will drive population growth. Invariably, it means we will drive the economy, but with no racial or ethnic majority group taking the place of today's white majority. Do you understand what that means? I won't say more than that. What will the future of your children, of those immigrants especially from Africa, be if there's no agenda and intentional scripting? Many of you listening to me, almost all of you, your children desire to come and study abroad. And many of them have no plan to go back. True or true? True, right? They have no plan to go back, right? So they are going to be part of this. But what this is saying is that they are going to serve, give their all, affect the economy, work so hard, develop the space. But these people are saying that they will still be white majority. And they, I mean, I don't do racism. I don't even like to talk about it. I like it, but it shows you what the projection is like for the future and gives you opportunity to plan. What must we do and how do we position? Listen to me. The best of the old templates, I'm going to wrap up shortly. The best of the old template is our present report card. See, I don't do hearsay or gossip. What I do is data, and I've shown you data. Right. If we don't embrace the new, this webinar will be useless. Do you want to build and master these secret codes? That's the first question I'm going to ask you. Right? If you want to build it, can you type yes? You want to master it, can you type yes? And trust me, it's not because I want you to join my training and blah, 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 but I'll show you. Right. So I'll show you a typical to build a domestic village educational system. I'll show you how the Japanese have done it. I'll show you how the Chinese have done it. The Jews have done it. The same template was used. And you can use this one if you even if you don't join our coaching, right? At least this will help your family. Right. So I'll show you, and you will see from here where Africa has missed it. Every sane nation, the first thing they determine is, who do we want our citizens to be? And how do we want them to think? That's the first thing they think about before they create an educational system. That before your child goes to any school, or before you give your child access to any book, the first thing you need is to ask, who do you want your citizens to be? And how do you want them to think? Those are the first two questions you need to ask. If you don't ask those questions and you create anything, it's failure. Everything you created will be emotional. Now, every time behavior contradicts profession, someone is trying to deceive others. So let me show you a template. So look at this. Look at this. This person says, this is a country. He says, we want to raise a royalty, a child. We want to raise children who will become global influencers. This is their belief. Say, my child is a royalty. But look at their action. The actions are shouting and outbursts. They shout a lot on the children and they get angry and they scream for the children to get it right. They command the child, sit down there. You need to do this, do that. Then they give emotional rules and regulations. So when the child messes up the floor, they give a rule. You must never come here again. When the child does something else, they give another rule. They keep giving emotional rules and regulations, right? But they also provide comfort. I mean, they provide money for ballet. Then they get angry and they spank sometimes. Then add prayers. They now add a lot of prayers. My child, my seed must grow well. Confession, confession, question. And I need us to reason this intellectually. If they do all these things, will this child become a royalty who will become a global influencer? Can you answer the question? Do you think if they do all of these things, add prayers to it, this child, they will get this result? You know, I need answers. Will they get this result? Okay? This is interesting. This is interesting. Now, let me ask you a question. Is there any of you in this meeting? What is on this side looks like what you have been doing? Can you type I? Aye. Can you type I? This looks like you. I love this class. You guys are very, very honest. So let me tell you what you're already doing. You are domesticating your child, right? You're already domesticating your child and you can produce this result. You will produce a child who is bitter, right? A child whose esteem is compromised. A child who doesn't know himself. He will pray, he will fast, but he will still lack identity. like many of you have done everything they ask you to do, but you still know something is missing in you. That's what is happening. Because what the Chinese have done and the Japanese have done is to ask, and if you check the educational system, who do we want our children to be? That determines, that's why in the Japanese parenting template, you do not pass a judgment on a child in the first 3 years. You must never do it. So he spills water, you don't pass judgment, just be observing and be taking note. Then the next 10 years, they teach the child stewardship, accountability, respect, and honor. Next 10 years. So at 14, it's fully formed. The educational system is built on it. In the Jewish template, they have a 14-year curriculum that terminates at Bat Mitzvah. So they broke it down into 5 streams. For us, what we do is child education. No template. So we do whatever we want to do, then we expect the child to become this. No. So this year is about systems mastery. If you master systems, guys, you don't even need to pray word of mouth prayer. And I guarantee you that, because your actions are prayers. Your thoughts are prayers. If you do, the child will become who he needs to become, because it's like scripting. Terrorists don't pray that, God, as we do what we are doing now, may these children become suicide bombers. Oh yeah, pray. No. What do? They create systems. They build the system, pass the child through the system, automatically the child is going to become suicide bombers. Some of you are raising suicide bombers. The way you are dealing with your children, the way you're running your home, you are raising suicide bombers, but you don't know. So when parents say to me, my child got abroad and he became gay. No, you did not observe what you should have observed early enough. So this is what many of us do. And this is what we need to tweak. So what you need to do to create a domestic education system, number one, you must clearly have a family vision. You must answer the question, who are we? Where are we headed? What is our spin? Who is the beneficiary of our vision? Somebody is saying something is wrong with my volume. Is something wrong with my volume? I think I'm loud enough. I can see my volume here. Or is anybody having the same challenge? Anybody having the same challenge with my volume? Okay, it's okay. Now, so you need to answer the question. You need to create a family vision. Who are we? You need to answer that question. Are you a tribe? Are you a nation? Are you a race? Where are we headed? It must be clear to everyone. What is our spin? That is, what is your unique selling proposition? Who is the beneficiary of our vision? That must be clear. That's the first thing you must do before you create any educational system. Number two, you now need to determine the portrait of your citizen. Who should every member of your family be? Who do you want them to be? How do you want them to compare with citizens of other nations? Because every child in your family is a citizen. How do you want them to think? Who do you want them to be? These questions must find answers, right? And the answers must be mutual to everyone concerned. Number three, you need to create a perceptual code that governs. A perceptual code is the descriptive word that represents everyone in your family. So for example, if you say, my family members are dash, what is that dash? If you say royalty, then you must go and study how to raise royalty, how to talk to royalties, how to correct royalties, how to discipline royalty, which is what discipleship, right? And how to handle royalty. So you must no longer do what you like to do. You must do what the template determines that you must do to raise the royalty. So if it says you negotiate, you don't shout, you must begin to negotiate, because that is the outcome you want. If your emotion gets in the way, you have lost the plot. So you need to create a perceptual code. Number four, when you have done 1, 2, 3, you now create a curriculum by deploying the power of subject. So for example, my children do something every day. Every day. There is something on YouTube called 10 Rules by Evan Carmichael or something. That's the name. The guy has profiled almost all the top leaders and the 10 rules that they live by. So my children study this year. They are studying 1 leader per day. So I've drawn the entire timetable who they are studying every day. Then we discuss it. Now, that they have to do that because of who they want to become. So at the end of this year, they would have done like 365 profiling of leaders, right? Who have changed the world. So if you say your families are royalties, you might create a subject in your family called royalty, the ultimate royalty, where your children study one global icon every week. You study it as a family, discuss it as a family, you watch videos on the person, discuss it, what are the pro, the con of the person, right? It might look like a mundane activity, but in 1 year, they would have studied 52. In 10 years, they would have studied 520. You know what that means? While other children are thinking about, let us play game, your children are thinking at a higher faculty because they know the people that have changed the world, right? So you need to create a curriculum by deploying the power of subject. Look at the word subject. Maybe you have not thought about it before. What does it mean? It has threefold. The goal of the subject is to subject you to become a subject of what you are, to become a subject of the subject. Basically, that's why when you pass through a subject, the subject is effective when you begin to think within the frame of reference of the subject. So you need to ask yourself what content is required. Where do we source for them? How many subjects and how many period? What outcomes do we want? Both theory and practical. We started a session yesterday, first of its kind, called Ready for Life. We are taking responsibilities for children, both in diaspora and within Africa, ages 8 to 18. Parents are subscribed to it. We started it. They are going to be mentored. The content we put in there, trust me, your children cannot remain the same, right? We started that yesterday. So you need to be intentional. Don't just expose your children. There are things I don't want my children to be exposed to. My children don't know about demons. They may not know about demons, because demons have troubled many of us till now. We are still afraid because they loaded our brain with demons. We have not seen the demon. We've not gone for their meeting. We don't know where they are, but we are afraid of the demons. I don't want fear. Let me tell you this. If a human being does not have fear in him, that human being can be limitless. They can get to any level in life. See Elon Musk, no fear. Fearless. See them, Bill Gates. These guys do whatever they want to do. But some of us, before you do it, what if the devil comes after me? I have concluded now, any demon that is after me is a poor demon, useless demon. If it's running after my destiny, it's a useless demon, because what is my destiny anyway? How much am I worth that is running after me? It's run after Bill Gates. That demon is poor. Very poor. If he kills me now, he has nothing to gain. He can't take my will. He can't. So what is he running after me for? I'm not a New York Times bestseller. I'm not anything. So why is the demon following me? He's a very broke demon. Very broke. He doesn't know his assignment. So he should be pursuing Elon Musk and Bill Gates and Mark Zuckerberg. Those are the people he should be pursuing. Right? Not me. So demon is in your brain. So why are you troubling about this year? Don't think about demons at all. And don't enjoy. If you have a child and you ask your child to pray, and your child's prayer is, Father, in Jesus' name, God, don't let my mother die, don't let my father die, don't let my sister die. You have killed that child. Go and rectify it with begging. Beg your children not to pray that prayer again. If that is all they pray about, I don't know where they taught them those kind of prayer. I don't know. But I noticed that almost every child is praying, don't let my father die, don't let my mother die. Why are they thinking that? Why are they not thinking billions? Right? So, guys, create a curriculum and be loyal to it. I'm part of, my wife is part of it, what we do every day. Right? I'm studying it, they're studying it, we're discussing it. You need to be intentional. This is what Jews do. They put a child under a mentor. That's the model we're doing with Ready for Life. Now, number 5, right? How must it be served? After you have created the curriculum, the subject, how must it be served? How do we model it? What is the best learning style? How do we reinforce and future pace? Future pacing is you create a scenario in the future. What if this happens? How will you respond to it? Many of us cannot respond to emergency because there was no scenario planning. Look at train burning in Nigeria, and all they had were fire extinguisher, which couldn't take it out. Yet the train continued to burn. Lack of scenario planning. Scenario planning is not in our blood again. It used to be there. Post 1700, it's no longer there. We need to bring it back. You think God has given you a brain. Don't take it back to heaven. Use it, maximize it, right? So you need to ask, how do we model it? What is the best learning style? Is it over a plate of suya every week? Or we bring wine and is it movie night? Is that when we do it? You need to make it memorable. What you leave with your children are moments. How do we reinforce and future pace? Is it classroom? Is it storytelling? Is it presentation? Is it research? You make them do research. And number 6, how do we track mastery? How do we examine what they are learning? So when I talk to my children, when somebody gives something outside, don't take it. You need to get permission. I set them up, send them somewhere, check if they will collect, told the person, offer them something. Check it. So one of them collected it. I corrected them. Why did you collect it? We discussed it. Then they have mastered it. You need to examine them. What system do we create to test and tempt? Temptation is not bad. Temptation is not an English word. It's a concept they use when they are making a cutlass. They put it in fire, right? And they fling it to be sure that it's solid. That's temptation. That's what it means. It's not a bad word, right? So how do we track mastery? Number 7, how do we apply? What activities must aid implementation? What must they produce that will show mastery? These are the 7 steps. You see, the fact is, when you understand this or when you do this, it helps you effectively disciple your child and other people's children. It puts you in control of your citizens, that you can beat your chest, you know what to expect. It helps you create a special class with distinct culture. That's what we need to do. We need to create a new village with distinct culture that is totally separate from everybody. Helps you eliminate peer pressure and low self-esteem. That your child is no longer going to be led by low self-esteem or what people are doing. Then it helps you create a predictable outcome. That in 2040, we know who our children are going to become. That's what we're doing. We're ready for life. So guys, these are the things you need to do. Then it helps you track progress. The greatest strength of the nation or your family is the human capital or resource capacity of the citizen. Once your people are the best that exist, they will create the best environment. That is what you all need to understand. And that is why this year is a year to build systems, is a year to show, to keep your family first. Somebody saying, I can't see something, right? You can't see 7. Let me go back there. How do you apply? That's basically what 7 is all about. Okay? This year is the year to choose your family. Focus on you and become the best that you can be. We say in Africa, it takes a village to raise a child. The question is, where is your village? And who will make up your village? Are you ready to shift the base of future power? Is a question you alone need to answer. At this juncture, what I'm going to be doing this year, I'll be working with like over 100. I have a few people who are registered already for this, right? I'll be assisting over 100 families, African families, build effective system that can deliver their most significant outcomes this year, right? It's going to take about 11 months. It's not for everybody. So don't be compelled. Don't put yourself under pressure. If you can't afford it, it's fine. We will see what we can give to you for free, right? You can, if what you have gained is enough, right? But if you want to work with us, we're going to be putting them in groups, working with them month after month, building system upon system, creating their outcome, test running, interfacing with other people, right? We're going to do it around the year. So it's a long, I don't have time for 3 weeks kind of thing anymore, right? It's going to be 1 year, right? It starts February through December. Basically, we call it family bliss programming. Whether you are one single family, couples family, but you see, it has a lot heavy on marriage, on parenting, on systems, on creating a village, right? It costs $3,000 US. That's the cost. If you go on my website, that's what you will find in there. If you are in this class, right, there's an offer for you. If you are going to pay once, right, you will get it at $1,000 US, right? You can convert it to your Nigerian currency. It's $1,000, but it covers you for 1 year. You're going to be exposed to all kinds of things. We're going to be building this system together. If what you want to do, however, is you want to spread your payment across 1 year, right? You want to pay monthly for it, or you want to even spread it beyond 1 year, whatever it is, finish paying. It will cost you $1,300. This offer is strictly for people on this call. So you can activate if you want to pay once. You can activate with $100 today within the next 24 hours. With $100, you can pick your spot, book your space. If you want to pay round the year, right, $1,300, you can activate with $25. With $50 today within the next 24 hours, thereabout. You have the links in there. You can click on the link, activate the offer, right? You can spread your payments, monthly. Basic thing is finish paying up, right? I'm going to trust your word. I hope you don't default, right? But trust me, the value of what you stand together across the next 1 year cannot be quantified. I mean it. It will change your family forever. You are working, and you need to get, if you are married, get the buy-in of your spouse, because you have to do this together. Your children are going to join in creating some of the things you're going to create. If you are a single-led family, you need to be part of it. If there's no husband, whether husband will come tomorrow is fine. If it's blended family, but save yourself, right? That's what we're doing. You're going to be sharing a lot of templates, building every month. We're going to be testing what we're building, right? And I'm going to give you access to almost everything I know. Trust me, it's not going to be easy, but it is doable. So you can click on the link. If you want to do one-time payment of $1,000, you can click on the link and activate with $100 today. If you want to spread your payment, you can click on the link and activate your $50 Nigerian currency. I think it's about 25,000 or 30,000 or something. You know, you can activate that, right? But after that, every other person goes back to default price. It's 3,000 US dollars. I've actually worked with people on that. Now, if you don't want to do that, there is another one that is slightly lesser. This one is they're working with you. If parenting is your challenge, 21-day better parenting challenge, right? Improve your parenting skills in 21 days. You're going to be working with a team of coaches once every day across 21 days. This is $80, about 45,000 naira. You can activate it with 10,000 today. I think all those links are in there, right? You can join this. I mean, this will be the list you can join. This is also equally effective. It's just that you won't be building systems here, but this will help you understand your child better. There will be what you need to change almost immediately. Every day you're going to be working with my book, Out of the Box Parenting. Very, very profound program, led by a team of coaches. But the other guys, we're going to be working together in an exclusive group around the year. I don't want to work with one-on-one people. I want to work with a village build measure this year. That's what I'm doing. So over to you. You want to join, activate your offer today. Within the next 24 hours, they'll shoot you a mail, activate your offer. Let me tell you this. A man who goes to battle that requires a gun with a cutlass has already lost the battle. And I'm not doing this. And if you know me very well, you know I give a lot freely, right? I give a lot freely. Now, what you are paying is not what you are going to get. You're going to get way, way, way above. But my concern, I've lived in the diaspora now. I've lived in the US, UK, Canada, and I've seen how unorganized we are as Africans. And I know what the problem is. A university has invited me to come and present this template. I know exactly the problem, and I know the solutions. It is systems. Once we build systems, we will create the future, right? So go ahead, sign up within the next 24 hours, right? So that we know how many people we are who are going to be on this program. We move into class in February. It's going to be very convenient for you. We will take one major session in the month. It's going to be at a stretch, then implementation program and all that you need to do. Okay, so how many of you are going to be with me in class? Can you type I? Let me see you. Let me see my people. Type I. Okay, somebody's confused. What is the link for the 1-year plan? Tolani, please, can you? Okay, I'm seeing my people. How many of you are coming to class with me? Right? Good. Let's do this together, guys. Trust me, this will change your life forever. I'm going to be providing support for you. And everyone that I've coached, worked with, they know what they will get is way, way above what they will ever pay, right? Don't be pressured. You can go for the lower one, but these people, we're going to do intense work. You will change your life forever. You will change your story forever, and your life will be totally transformed, right? Yes, we will get the timings to you. It will be convenient. We'll first have a village meeting once we're ready to start, and we'll pick a time that we'll be doing our debriefing that is convenient for everyone so that you can all lock it down. You'll be at a particular weekend in the month, right? Lock it down. Then you have smaller clusters of people working with you across the next 1 year. I look forward to seeing you. Someone is saying, I'm eligible. Is the 1K program for marriage or raising? It covers both. It covers both, right? It's family systems building. You're going to be building family, so you have access to materials on parenting, have access to materials on marriage, and whatever it is. Whatever can make your family into a village is what we're going to be dealing with. Okay, someone is asking for the link. Again, Tolani, over to you. Okay, anybody with a question before we shut down today? Is it okay for single parents? Perfect. I mean, once you are a parent, you are running a family, whether single, double, one parent led, two parent led, blended family, whatever it is good for you. Even if it's gay family, whatever family, it's good for you. You do get certificate, you get certificate of participation, right? If you really need, you really need that, right? How do you keep this link for later? Trust me, I can't guarantee that this offer is not available forever, right? So it's for those on this call, right? So once you activate it, you can spread your payment on your own terms, but activate it today. If you are doing one-time payment, I think it's 52,000 to activate it within the next 24 hours. If you are doing spread payment, I think it's about 25,000. If you are doing the other one, I think it's 10,000. Okay, guys, I hope you have learned something at this meeting. I look forward to working with you. Are we going to get today's recording? Well, that will be left for the team. I hope they can, make it accessible to you so that you can listen to it over and over again. Usually we don't give it out again because people will now call and say, and that offer, we want it again. No, the offer is specifically for people who are on this dial. You will get a mail almost immediately. If you registered on the site, you'll get a mail. You can activate your offer. I look forward to working with you guys in class. We're going to have a great time, a great year. Trust me, we need to take hold of the future. We need to redefine the future of Africans. We need to do what is right. And this us cannot power that future. You will change. This program will heal you. You will be transformed. You will see where you're getting it wrong. You will become a new generation of ancestors who know exactly how to do things and how to get things right. I hope I have helped today, and I hope this has been worth your time. Thank you so much for staying with me. Thank you for attending this session. Thank you for learning. If we had done it and you are not here, we wouldn't have had it, but I'm grateful for the gift of all of you. God bless you. I look forward to seeing you in class. Trust yourself, trust your God. You didn't get a payment confirmation. You will get it. Don't worry, Gladys. They'll work and get it to you. I love you. I celebrate you. I believe in you. And I want you to know that you have what it takes to take the future. Let us do this together, guys. I'll see you in class starting from February, which is the love month. Have a fantastic evening. Bye-bye.